355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. All right. Pro athlete wedding. Ooh, exciting. All right. 6'5", 210, self-labeled as hot. I love it. Love the confidence here. My fiance's college roommate. All right. So his fiance, her roommate is getting married to a professional athlete in the spring. I've met him a few times and he's super nice, down to earth guy. A ton of his teammates will be at the wedding, including one of his best friends who is a dude all of us would want to party with. All right. So again, his fiance, roommate from college, marrying a pro athlete. He's got a ton of his teammates there. And I guess one of them is like an all-time guy. Look, I am more self-aware than the 23-year-old LA rich kid who thought he was going to be best friends with Melo. That poor kid. Can you actually send us a follow-up email? Because sorry that everybody hated you on the podcast. I'm going to now pivot. I have a lot of interest in the Melo friendship path. So please send us a follow-up email because everybody emails about you guys constantly all the time. And I hope you're undeterred with all the hate. But all right, so back to this. More self-aware than those guys. I understand that I'm not going to develop a lifelong friendship with these guys, but it would be an incredible experience to tear it up for a weekend with a bunch of famous athletes. As each of you has spent extended time around athletes, famous people in the past, I could use your help in my approach. What is my play here? P.S. Kyle, you're a legend. Love this one. I'll start with Kyle on this. Kyle, how did you handle it when you're around one of those big-time guys?
Well, I'm not around those big-time guys often. And,
yeah, you still are, though, a little bit. John Hamm.
I'd be in the same, yeah, but that's my story is John Hamm and then Walt Goggins. That's my stories. And I said it exactly. I didn't forget anybody. I didn't leave anybody out. It's those two. So I guess I would just play, I guess, how is he, can you just run this by me one more time? How is he wants to hang out with them again?
I think he wants to be able to hit it off with them where they leave, potentially wanting to be friends with this guy.
Fuck.
And that's a tough one.
How famous, too? How
well,
famous?
It sounds like one of these guys is a big time. He didn't put the name in. Some guys will put the name in so I know who it is, but then keep it private from everybody else and I won't read it. He didn't put the name in there. I think the way he's setting it up is, I don't know. Imagine if now Brady's a bad example because Brady's like a superhero, you know. I'm trying to think.
We're talking like backup quarterback level, like if
no,
like Taylor Heineke.
No. He's saying that one of the friends of the boyfriend and all the teammates, right? That one of the guys from that team is a big, big deal. That's what he's insinuating here, right?
So is he like sharking this one guy, or is he like literally anybody from the team I'd be happy with, or is he like I need the linebacker that's like a Pro Bowler to hang out with me to want to hang out?
I think he's simply saying he's going to be with these guys and he wants to fit in and he wants it to be cool. All right.
Oh,
yes.
This is so easy then.
All right.
Right?
Yes.
Why the fuck am I taking so long?
I have no idea what's happening
easy.
to this podcast.
Oh my
today,
God.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh man. I mean, just roll with it, right? I mean, don't be too eager and just like take a temperature and then maybe have one more beer than you were hoping if they're that type of guy, and then be like, hey, this guy's keeping up, right? And then I don't know, maybe bring a weed pen in case it seems like it's going down that road, and you're like, hey, look, I got a weed pen. I don't know. I just like
what is up with today?
Don't take any pictures and don't take any videos. That's the only thing.
Look at all pretty good advice. The weed pen was aggressive, but be prepared. So Kyle, to recap, weed pen, maybe a couple extra reebs, and then I think your no picture thing is right on. Because I invited a buddy to a party that Sean McVay was at, and the second he showed up, he went to McVay to get a pic, and McVay was so nice that McVay was kind of like, whatever, and the guy hosting the party was super pissed immediately. And I was like, bad move. All right, so don't do the picture thing. If this guy's that famous, which is the kind of famous where when people see him, he constantly can see that people are seeing him all the time, and he's been able to figure out, he's going to be able to tell in your eyes immediately kind of what kind of hang you're going to be. All right. So if you're really excited and you're sort of looking forward to this and you're going to make the intro and whatever, you have to slow play it. You have to be cool. You have to start practicing your eye contact moves as if you're almost detached, not with all of this anticipation. Because once he sees these super excited, anticipating eyes, he's going to be like, all right, this guy, whatever. You want to order around? All right, order around for some of the guys. Wedding, you're probably not paying for it anyway. Not a big deal. See if you can get into the conversation that avoids talking about sports. more often than not, guys always like to say, hey, what I liked about him is we don't always talk about sports all the time. We'll talk about what's going on with our families. We'll talk about some of these other things. I mean, I don't know how, if you're expecting to have like lifelong friendship with this guy, we'll get to that in a second. You could research a couple things, but then this is like getting really weird here. So I'm not sure. Like, hey, you know what I'm interested in is startups, but in the direct consumer space, subscription stuff, because you know that he is. All right. So then that would try a little too hard. But then there's the Wade Boggs of the world who only wanted to talk about hitting and only wanted to talk about sports. The one time I hung out with him, all he wanted to do was actually be recognized and talk baseball with everybody, which was actually incredible because he was so accommodating. He was so friendly. Everybody really liked him. He was really nice. He wasn't having a good time until people started talking with him about being Wade Boggs. So some guys don't want to be Wade Boggs, and then some guys are like, I just want to tell you that I'm Wade Boggs the entire time, right? That's the Wade Boggs approach to the whole thing. But I would make this a point. All right. You might be hot and 6'5" and 200 pounds, and your fiance is roommates with the girl getting married. So this is a wedding you're very, very close to. But I can tell you from experience and kind of, floating in and out of some of these circles. I may be fun. I may be cool. And here I am in my own little life, successful. And, I'm not a zero that comes to the group. But if these guys are all on the same team and they've had memories and they've traveled and they've been in the locker rooms and they know each other from colleges and different camps and all this shit, that is such a tight circle that you're actually not going to penetrate it. You're not. Because these guys, if they're all like tier one friends, all from the same team, they've had these memories and these experiences together where they don't even need a new guy. All right. First of all, so that's working against you. And even if your joke timing is great, observational stuff, not too mean, but funny, couple good comments here or there, get around, they get you around, you're putting your arms around. Maybe you're even taking pictures, right? Maybe you're even at that level. There's still a very good chance that you are only an outsider to that group because you're not a pro athlete, even though you're hot at 6'5". You know what I mean? Like I can sit and hang with guys, but when I'm not somebody that went through the wars with these players and was in the clubhouse, was in the locker room, all these different things, there's just going to be a separation that I can't ever make up for. All right. There's just going to be a little bit of a separation at this event. Now, long-term neighborhood, kids in school and all that kind of stuff, that's a completely different path and plan and chart. We don't have time for that one today. But for a wedding, the best thing is to find yourself being a side guy, because if you try to out alpha a lot of these guys, it's weird because they're always the alphas. So if you're a big time alpha, you're going to have to beta it up a little bit. But don't have such high expectations that you can be getting a summer house with this guy on Monday.
What was your origin story for your friendship with Chris Long? Because it's funny because Chris is, and obviously like you're famous and like, so he knows that. So that's part of like your in, but he's also a guy who like, he's like the best looking girl at the dance, right? Like Chris has a ton of friends. Everybody loves Chris. Like he doesn't need new friends, but you were able to penetrate and infiltrate sort of his inner circle. How did you do that? Because I mean, maybe people could take something from that advice.
That one was different though, because actually he and Van Pelt were like drive-through BFFs. So if they were at an event together, Van Pelt would seriously be like, I'm going to go hang out with Chris Long. And I was like, what's the story with this guy? You're like, you have no idea. He's the best. He's the best. He's the best. Right. And then in the divorce, I got him somehow. Because I don't think Scott was as interested in maintaining the relationship once he had a family. And then I was asked to come down and host his Water Boys Foundation thing. So then I hung out with him and then all of his guys in Seaville for the night. And that kind of like was like, oh, Russillo's, just like us. And then I did it again. I hosted it. And then it just, I don't know. We're very alike in a lot of ways. So I think that had more to do with it than I didn't work it in a certain way, or he didn't work. You
didn't research Chris Long before you met him that time?
No, we definitely like came to this conclusion that we see a lot of the things the same way. And then he also wanted to get into podcasting. So he'd be asking about that while he was still playing. The funny thing is he played for the Pats. I didn't go visit him once. I didn't go to a game. The only time I almost stopped by his house was when I was home for Christmas and I ended up having to leave early. And I was on Christmas Day driving through Southern Mass. And I was like, hey, are you guys, this is weird. It's Christmas Day. And he's like, oh, you should have just stopped by. And I was like, whatever. Now the story's getting really long. But Yeah, that was it. It was also weird for me to have a friend that much later. And I'll admit too, I think there was even a time where I thought I was on the outs with Chris Long, where I was like, maybe this isn't. Maybe we peaked. Maybe we peaked and it's over now. But I think we're good now. All right. Let's see here. What else? I don't know. Wife, you guys up for a wife swap one? Maybe we'll save that for a Friday.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'd have to read up on wife swaps before.
Hey, you know what, Kyle? There's your homework assignment. Read up on wife swaps and then let us know what you think on Friday.
All right. And your small town news and on wife swaps. Got it.
Okay. I know it's in here somewhere. We had a lot of people chiming in about the compulsive liar, which again, we appreciate some of that feedback. There's some really good stuff, but I don't think I'm going to share it.
Was there a leaning sentiment left or right? Was it, yeah, it's funny, or no, it's gross?
A lot of people just kind of chimed in about their own guy. Then somebody got really serious with it. And said, it could be some traumatic thing that happened when he was younger. And I was like, you know what?
Don't ruin life advice, guy.
I know. Honestly, I think we may have even touched on that, though. So, all right. This one just sucks. I'm going to just read this one because it sucks and it's stupid. Hey, 6'1", 170, big lifter in high school. Awesome. Bench 250, big lifter. Avoided the weight room. Oh, wait, 170, 250 in high school? That's a huge number. Good for you, man. Can't get 185 now. Avoided it since high school. All right. I'm sorry that I was disparaging when he said big lifter after saying 250, but when I realized it was 170 and in high school to put up 250, that's a big, big deal. You should tell more people about that. Make a shirt. All right. So my friends and I were at this bar this past weekend, and I don't drink alcohol, but I always make up for it by ordering food. I would never be the guy at the table ordering nothing. So I usually order wings, mott sticks, etc. We get to the bar and I order a plate of wings. The bar is not very crowded, but it's somewhat full. I went to the bartender who was cleaning glasses and I asked her for water. She rolls her eyes, gets a cup of water, and says, the worst part about being a bartender is getting water for people like you. Now, usually the worst thing about being a bartender is jumping over the bar and trying to break up a fight and a guy putting a cigarette out in your arm. I would suggest that's worse than pouring a water for somebody. Very taken aback. I say, great, I'll take my water now. Later, my friend goes up to the bar and she snaps at him and says, do you want a water too? My friend confused says, no, I want a rum and Coke. Much later in the night, a third friend goes to the bar, order a drink from the other bartender. The first bartender rolls her eyes and exclaims, careful, it's probably just another water. Were you guys at Dick's Last Resort and you didn't get it? What the hell is going on here? By the way, do you guys know Dick's Last Resort? Kyle definitely does. You probably get a membership card.
No, I like her water jokes throughout the night. Careful, we got a water guy over here. Chris Long and the Water Boys coming through for a meeting.
Imagine if she had said to the fourth guy, you guys drilling wells or what? Wait, so you like her? Do you guys know what Dick's Last Resort is?
No, I'm going to look at it.
I think I've heard of it, but no.
Right. All right.
Is that a dangerous Google search? Or
No. It's a chain of, I don't even know how many there are anymore. But the point is that the people are rude to you on purpose. And my buddy Sully didn't know when he went to the one in Boston. And I think every one of us, 20-something deep, went to Dick's Last Resort. Maybe that one time. That was about it. It was not a go-to. It wasn't like, hey, all right, we'll start at Dick's again, and then we'll make it over to Sauncey. No. So he was there, and he ordered 2 drinks, and the guy didn't put straws in. I don't even know I'd want the straw or something. He's like, he throws straw. He's like, oh, look at this guy. He's got to sip it. He's going to sip it with his straw. Couple straws. Straw guy over here. And then my friend was like, what? And then he leaves the tip. He's like, oh, $4. $4. I'm like, I might retire now. And my friend didn't know that's the whole deal. So he was like, hey, $4 is a good tip.
Wait, none of his friends told him the deal?
None of his friends told him. He didn't know. So he's mad. He's like, fuck this guy. He's like, no, this is bullshit. He's like, he doesn't give me any straws. And then I guess the other time is if you were to ask for straws, they would take 30 of them and put them in your drink at the same time. And then the liquor would spill out. And that was the routine. I don't know if we have anybody in the PR, can you look up Dick's Last Resort, what the nearest locations are? Maybe we'll do a field trip for it. So
I saw a lot of Vegas. I looked it up. It seemed like it's heavy in Vegas.
Heavy in Vegas. People just love going there and getting bad service.
2 in Las Vegas.
Looks like there's only about a dozen total. So I don't know if they've had a decline recently, but
I think it's just a tough business model. I think it's especially if a lot of people don't get it. You know, some people don't know.
Right. So then
Like
another
Sully.
bartender pulled my friend aside and was like, hey, it's kind of the point. Like it's our deal. Anyway. So my point of this email was it would be hilarious if this guy didn't realize he was at a Dick's Last Resort and sent an email in. So the guy says with this, I've ordered water at bars 1,000 times in my life. Never had this reaction before. We want to go back to this bar. But this is how I'm going to be treated for ordering water. I'll find a different place. Is this normal? How would you handle someone ordering water at the bar? Look, I'm not going to tell you I was the happiest bartender at all times, especially towards the end of the night. But somebody doing this to you is an asshole. I mean, it's just, this is a her problem. This is not a you problem. I would tell you most bartenders would not handle it this way. I remember I worked at that dance club in Oak Bluffs, like on the really, really busy dance nights. The water thing could get a little out of hand because people just didn't want to pay for drinks on Martha's Vineyard sometimes. And it would just be water, water, water. So we started putting out pitchers, and then people got really mad. I think one bartender I do remember saying, hey, we have rusty pipes, which was a lie. Because he was just so mad. He was so mad about, because like some of the dance crowd isn't really a drinking crowd. I mean, sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. And so we'd have some of these dance specific nights where we knew it wasn't a very good shift because it wasn't a heavy drinking night. And the vineyard hours were so weird back then anyway, because you would open at 9, no one would get there till 10:30, and then last call is 12:30, and they were strict about it. So it was like this 2-hour window. And so some of the bartenders would get really mad about it. But back to the email, I mean, I'm just telling stories here left and right. I'm not even sure how interesting any of them are anymore. This person's just an asshole to you, So if you want to go there again, I mean, I hate how often we're like, hey, just order from somebody else. Just order from somebody else. Or you can even do this. Seriously, most bartenders will be like, this guy's awesome. You'd be like, hey, look, I don't drink, which is bullshit if you don't drink and then somebody's treating you poorly because you don't want to drink. Like, that's just messed up to begin with. Go up to the other bartender and say, hey, look, we were in here. He's like, we just ordered waters. I don't drink. And here's $5. Throw it in the tip jar. It's just, I'm going to order a couple of waters from you tonight. You shouldn't have to do any of those things, by the way. But the fact that you would do it, any bartender who's like a good seasoned guy, girl who's been doing it a long time is going to be like, you know what? That was really, really cool. That's why I tip at an open bar, even if there's no tipping.
Totally.
At the beginning of anything, I will always tip. And knowing that it's I'm not going to pay for a drink the entire night. Go, hey, here's $20. I just want to make sure somebody's taking care of you, whatever. And it is one of the best investments you can make at a wedding or any kind of function or any of that kind of stuff, because now that person's looking out for you because nobody else is doing that kind of stuff. So when you do little stuff like that with a bartender, it ends up paying. And in this case, you shouldn't have to do any of those things. Most people listen to this and say, fuck her, never go back there. Never go back there. But if it's someplace that you actually kind of want to go and you don't want to be treated like that by her, instead of even getting into it with her, make her look like the fool by doing something really cool to the other guy. And it's going to cost you $5 and it's going to be worth way more than that. So, all right. That's
what I was going to say. Drop a 20 on the bar at the end of the night and be like, sorry for the major inconvenience. Be super sarcastic about it to make her feel bad about treating you like a dick. That's what I would have done.
Wow.
But I also don't know. So you're supposed to tip for waters. Is that a thing?
No,
you said no or
no,
yes?
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't be.
Because I was
a
couple weekends ago, I was in Boston and I was DDing. I was driving home. It was the night my friend puked in my car. Good times. I ordered some couple soda waters at the end of the night, and I just didn't know. I didn't know. I kind of felt weird.
If you want to leave a buck or two, you could. But look, if you're pounding soda waters all night and staring like a lurker in the corner, and you're on soda water number 10, and you haven't left $1, like, you can expect that guys are doing shit to your soda waters now, because like that's not, there's a line, like everything, right? There's no absolutes for almost everything. And there's a difference between end of the night, I want to water it out here a little bit, especially if you've been a customer with all your friends and all this. And the other thing too, the guy like clearly cares. He ordered food. He feels bad about this whole thing. Your $20 thing to show her up, most people are probably going, screw her. Don't give her $20 on top of everything else, just to prove some sort of point. So you can make the $5 point in the beginning the next time you go ahead and do it. But yeah, I mean, there's there's a number of waters in your behavior. And if you've never ordered a drink and you go to a place, like we had guys that would start doing that because they were older guys that would come to our dive that wanted to look at college girls the whole time. And then you were like, okay, so you're ginger ale guy and you think you're going to get free ginger ales to lurk? Like, nah, like eventually those guys expose themselves. And clearly that's not what you're doing, we think.
No, come on, dude. I was being responsible. It's DD.
I know. No, you're a very responsible guy. I think we covered it today. So I don't want to keep adding to this. This was three guys chopping it up quite a bit today on a Monday. So we'll pivot. College football heavy on Wednesday and NBA stuff as well. And it looks like our good friend Tom Rinaldi, America's best friend, is going to join us on the show. I can't wait to talk to that guy. He makes you feel better just by saying his name out loud. Thanks to Kyle and Steve. Talk to you Wednesday.